Welcome to Witness Wednesdays here on the Walk Boldly with Jesus podcast. I am your host, Katherine Duggan. However, each Wednesday, I will have a guest give their witness of how God is working in their lives. Hearing how God is working in other people's lives shows us how deeply He cares for each one of us individually. Listening to these experiences will help your faith grow. I am so blessed to be able to share these with you. Let's get started. Today's guest speaker is my good friend Nancy. Nancy was the leader of the prayer group when I first joined and has been a great mentor to me on my faith journey over these last 4 years. She will be witnessing this week about a prayer she prayed for a very long time, a prayer that seemed to go unanswered for many years. I think we all have those prayers we feel God doesn't hear. Nancy's witness provides encouragement to all of us to keep praying those prayers because God is so faithful. I know you're going to love her witness. Take it away, Nancy.
Have you ever prayed really hard and long for someone you love? Have you ever felt your prayer was not heard? Most of us have. I would like to share with you a particular prayer I offered, and that it was indeed answered by our gracious God in His perfect time and way. My brother Johnny is 2 years older than me. We grew up sharing many same experiences in our family and were raised in the Catholic faith. Johnny was probably somewhere on some spectrum. He was smart, but had trouble connecting on a human level with others. He seemed to be in a world of his own. As an older, retired man, he moved geographically near me and lived somewhat of a reclusive life. He was into mental telepathy and transcendental thinking, mind over matter. I would dig him out of his apartment and bring him to our family holidays and events, since he gave up his car because he didn't need it, since he lived within walking distance to the grocery store, the bank, and Walmart. What more could he need? He also never went to a doctor for anything for decades. I was concerned for his health and for his faith life, which seemed to be swallowed up in his new philosophies. I prayed for his eternal salvation and begged God to bring him back to recognize God in his life. I had ideas about how God could do this, but God had a perfect plan for Johnny. One day last May, Johnny was on his routine short walk to the grocery store and had a stroke while crossing the street. He got immediate care from the EMTs parked at the same grocery store and was brought to the hospital immediately. I also worried that something like this would happen while Johnny was alone in his apartment and not be found for days. So the fact that he was found immediately was miracle number 1. While in intensive care, Johnny was absolved from his sins and given the sacrament of the anointing of the sick by a priest. That's miracle number 2. Johnny seemed to be recovering and had some cognition. I asked him if he wanted me to pray over him, and he gave me a big yes by nodding his head and making eye contact. I prayed with him, and I felt his personal acceptance of God into his life. That was miracle number 3. His body began to close down, and his organs failed, and he died 12 days after his stroke at the age of 79. His extended family all got in to see him and talk to him during his 12 days in the ICU. Johnny died connected to his God and connected to his family. To God I give praise and thanksgiving, for he knew Johnny and loved him as he was, and gathered Johnny into his embrace in his perfect loving way. And maybe there was a fourth miracle for me. I was privileged to see up close the faithfulness of God, in hearing with compassion the deep desire of my soul for my brother's return to the faith, and for him to allow the mercies of God to enfold him. I hope there is a fifth miracle for each of you listening, that you be encouraged to persevere with fervent hope in your intercessions for your own loved ones, because God never fails.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for giving us your witness. I think it's so beautiful you were able to find so much good in something that was so difficult for you. I can't imagine losing a sibling. I'm sure it's very difficult, and yet you were able to witness several miracles throughout those 12 days. God is so good. It amazes me how God knows what each one of us needs and makes sure He takes care of us. He knew you needed to see your brother's relationship with God repaired, and God let you witness that. I know so many people who have been praying for something for a very long time and not seeing any results. If that is you right now, listen to the witness again and remember what Nancy said. God never fails. Keep on persevering. I know it feels like it's been forever. I know it feels like He doesn't hear you. I assure you, He hears you and He is working on it. Keep praying. Your answer is coming, just as Nancy's answer came. Remember, God never fails. We have all seen God working in our lives. However, we might not all be aware it is God working in our lives. This is why it's so important we start talking about it more. The more we share our experience, the more people will understand how God works and how much He truly loves us. If you would be willing to share any experience you've had of how God has worked or is working in your life, please email me at Catherine@findingtruenorthcoaching.com. And that's CATHERINE at findingtruenorthcoaching.com. Or just click on the link below. It won't take up much of your time, and your story could be just the story that someone needs to hear today. Prayerfully consider sharing. Everyone has a story, and the world needs to hear them. I look forward to spending time with you again tomorrow, and I will have another witness for you next Wednesday. Have a blessed day.